Hi, and welcome to Gaia GPS. This is where we come and pull cards for the astro week ahead. I am Mimi. I'm here with Nicole Oman.
Hello.
And we're diving into a week of shift. Now, I do want to mention that as we move through this week, we are going to be moving into the realm of the eclipse energy. And so we're not going to talk about the eclipse this week, but we're in the building to it. Ever since we hit that new moon last Friday, we've been slowly inching our way into the eclipse. So keep that intensity in mind as we move through. So we're beginning today, Tuesday, with the moon shifting into Aries. And so I was just telling Nicole before we started, anytime the moon is moving into Aries, Cancer, Libra, or Capricorn, any of the cardinal signs, we're going to feel a little bit of the tightening of the T-square. So it's like kind of this process through, this next couple months is going to be the tightening and the release of this cardinal T-square, or sometimes even the cardinal cross when the moon shifts into Cancer. And so the cardinal signs are the leaders, and they're the parts of us that want to take, I'm getting the word ignition, but that's not the word, but they want to not ignite the energy, but they want to take it and run with it, especially Aries. So we have this moon in Aries right now. Moon with Aries, Mars is in Aries, and we're going to have Venus shifting into Aries later this week. So Aries is the sign of I am. And a lot of times Aries, rules with the head, or Aries rules the head, and it's like headstrong, diving headfirst into anything. You may be focusing on this energy. The state of the world right now, it's intense. Again, Nicole and I were talking right before this. We're both exhausted. We're both feeling this energy on such a big level. And I think many of us are feeling this kind of energy. It's kind of this nightmare. What do you do? What I'm getting with this energy is the solution's not in your head. The solution is in finding your personal peace, finding your personal vibration, finding your harmony, dancing in the rain. I've actually got a really great card. I'm using the Gaia Oracle this week. And I've got a really great card, intuitive communication, but it's not what the card says, which is you have natural psychic ability, which we all do, but it's the poem, the affirmation poem at the end that I'm yes, this is how we need to be. I focus on my inner world. I am one with all creation. All is energetically connected. I trust my intuition. My awareness expands through love. This, to me, is how we need to move in and through this energy of the moon in Aries. And it's interesting because, like I mentioned, we're moving into the eclipse. That eclipse is actually happening in the sign of Leo, which is the sign of love. Love is the evolution. Love is the revolution that's happening right now. So move into that energy. Find that harmony, find that joy, find that celebration within yourself, within that love for yourself. Jupiter in Libra is working on that balance of self-love. Jupiter in Libra is preparing to go retrograde. So Jupiter in Libra is also helping us in this process. We're getting it from multiple angles. But focusing on your I am, focusing on that harmony in your love is how to move, how to take that action, how to be ignited with this moon in Aries instead of falling into the guilt. And then I think the guilt is part of the divide and conquer. If you're feeling bad, you're not going to be in high vibration, and you're going to be making decisions from that place of feeling bad instead of making decisions from a place of feeling good, decisions from a place of feeling love. So speaking of love and lions and Leo, I've got Sekhmet. Be strong. You are stronger than you think you are, and your strength assures a happy outcome. Be strong in your love. Be strong in your united energy within yourself. Like I said, Mars is in Aries as well, and here comes Venus. And so Mars and Venus in the same sign is bringing a kind of energy of union between your yin and yang energies within yourself to move this united front, harmonious front into the love vibration. Nicole?
Perfect. It's funny. Segment came up twice today with both of the readings that I had today. One was about the body and the other one was this lioness goddess, of course. So Sekhmet is up, and I'm not surprised to see you having that because we are in a collective consciousness. And so if she's coming on the planet right now, I'm not, she's coming in a lot of people's lives. So you got to listen to that, and you got to strengthen yourself. And as the strength, because Sekhmet It's such a strong energy, and so is Aries. It's a force. It's a force to be reckoned with. And what I'm getting from these cards, I also have the Harmony card, and this is in the present position. I have the Harmony card. And what I'm getting with this, because of my other cards, I'm getting that you have to really check in with the heart and the mind. Get them aligned on what they want and what they're communicating together. There's a lot of energy in this. It's funny because it's Aries, but there is a lot of communication energy going on here. So how are your heart and your mind connecting or communicating with each other? Are they on the same page? What I'm getting for this, for a certain level of success, because underneath, so the underlying theme in this particular reading is the success card. This is a fire sign. This is moving forward. This is getting what you want. So we have to come into harmony of what we want, what the head wants. You know, the head a lot of times thinks about success and money and all the logical things. And the heart wants fulfillment. It wants to be able to feel like they love what they do. The heart, you know, heart brain. I keep getting the heart brain cartoon. The heart wants to be fulfilled in a joy way, and the mind wants to be fulfilled in a secure way. So they need to be online with each other. As we do this, so there's two major cards that I'm getting. Just like Mimi's communicate with your intuition, this is communication cards as well. I have the truth be told card, and I have the voice card. So this is speaking, and I had this on my daily guidance today. So of course, because today is the moon in Aries, is we have to Mimi's making fun of me over there. I'm being like a teapot.
I'm dancing with you.
Oh, good. I'm like doing the Indian head bubble. Okay. So the voice is saying that it needs to be spoken. Whatever you need to speak up for. And if you don't know exactly what you need, then you need to write it or communicate with your heart and your mind. And a good way to communicate heart-mind is if you just journal, not type, but journal. Okay, so what I like to do is I like to have a conversation with myself. I believe myself to be a higher and a lower self. So my lower self is the one that can't see what's going on, or what, you know, it's the one that's confused. And it asks my higher self for advice. So that's a really good way to do a dialogue in your journal, which I will be having in my book, which is, hey, I mean, what is this? And see if anything comes through from a heart-guided place or from a wisdom-guided place from within you. So you can get the heart and the mind online and see what each of them need and what you need to do to make them both happy. Guess what's right in the heart, in the middle between your heart and your mind? Your throat, your voice. Of course, you need your voice. So you need to communicate that to the people around you. And it might be a male figure, a boss, your husband, a friend, your brother. Whatever needs to be said needs to be said. Now this it has a light energy of stress. So you might be avoiding doing this because it might feel stressful, and it might also bring up some sort of fear or wounding that you have that it might emotionally release. So as soon as you say what you want, all that fear that you've had, all the trauma from speaking up for what we actually need might actually be released, and you have an emotional release with this. But you can't hold back any longer. It's no longer time to hold back and be fearful. You have to say, you have to speak the truth, even if it's hard, or even what you need, because what's going to happen is there's going to be energy to move forward, and success will come. It will loosen up some things. You know, she said that this T-square is tightening us up. So it's tightening you up to make you do this so you can have the release again. It's like a heartbeat, right? We have to constrict to expand, restrict to. So allow this restriction to come inside to figure out what you need to say, and then expand and say what you need. Okay.
I'm not going to go there. Okay.
Something going on?
No, I will go there because now everybody will be curious if I don't. So interesting. You know, I always think of, which is funny because you're the pregnant one, but like I think of contractions, or I think of orgasms, you know, the contraction, expansion, release, you know, that energy. And speaking of the throat, interestingly enough, I was in a Shakti class earlier this year, And one of the things that somebody brought up is that the throat is actually very close to the energy of the vagina. So if you look at them, they actually look very similar. And so, and look at the
card,
Yoni.
So the voice card looks like a vagina.
Totally.
Yeah.
So it does connect in, you know, so it's all connected. And I think this is part of like the rising of the feminine. I think the feminine needs to speak, you know, and come from the feminine place.
Hallelujah. So, I've been getting that in my own personal life.
And maybe that's why I had to use the Gaia Oracle and the Goddess cards today. It was like, bring forth the feminine. So yeah, so let's talk about February. We hit February tomorrow. Rabbit. If you are one of those people. I like rabbits. So interesting cards that I have for this. There's actually an emphasis on home from the Gaia Oracle. I have sacred journey, life cycles, family, transformation, but the card itself really talks about the family. I've got from the goddess guidance, I've got Vesta, home. And then I have in Osho, I have the source, and I've got more cards too. But to me, these three cards are like, where is your focus? I've also got politics and suppression.
I do too.
Yeah. So, yeah, this could be your focus. It's really easy to make this your focus. If you go on Facebook for 0.2 seconds, this will become your focus immediately. And I don't want to say that that's bad, because I think, you know, getting information out and, you know, expressing yourself, I think that's all really important. However, again, I'm going to say this has been exhausting for me. It's really hard. It's hard being really empathetic in this energy. There's a lot of hate, and it's not on one side. It's on all of the sides. I don't care what side you're on. There's a lot of hate. There's a lot of that suppression. There is that resistance energy, and that resistance energy is suppression. This energy is calling for us to unite with ourselves. I keep getting this unite with yourself energy. Get into your innocence. And I'm not saying don't do the things that, you know, hashtag resist. It's not about not doing those things. It's just don't do things to resist. Do things because they're in alignment with you. Do things because your whole soul is saying, yes, this is your path. Do things from the heart of you. Do things from the soul of you. Do things from your inner fire. Vesta is that energy of the inner fire. Do things from love. I've got the friendliness card. Do things because, you know, you love the world. You love yourself. Watch why you're doing things. If you're doing things in resistance, in reaction, then you're feeding that energy. And this isn't about feeding the energy. This is about growing your own roots. This is about growing the world. This is about our personal revolution evolutions. Now, it's funny because I just did the horoscope before this, and I pulled the Fool card for the first day of February too. So, the Fool card, I'm seeing this. You are on the leading edge. Mm-hmm. How are you being a leader in this energy? What are you leading people into? Are you leading people into the light with your personal vibration of innocence, love, that fire, that source, your inner compass? Are you leading from that place, or are you feeding off of this energy? This is going to be your opportunity to make a big revolution shift. And like I said, we're heading into eclipse season. We have 2 eclipses in February, so it's bound to be an intense month. We're going to feel the intensity. Stuff's going to come up. Shadows are going to come up to be released in all of us. Where are you going to go in this energy? It's up to you. I love this card, and I'm going to read the affirmation again from this card, the Sacred Journey card. Sacred Journey, the Fool, Adventure. It's going to be a ride, February, but the affirmation is so beautiful. The role I play in this life is transient. The role I play. This is a play. I am in essence a being of light. My family members, meaning we are the world, are some of my greatest teachers. All human drama helps me expand my awareness of love. My soul is not confined by time and space. So again, this is pointing to love. This is pointing to love your neighbor. Really strong energy came up last week of like, pray for your enemies. The more you dislike what's going on, the more you dislike Donald Trump, the more you dislike the liberal side of things. I don't care what side you are on. Pray for those people. We are in this together. This is one world. We are in this together, like it or not. So the more we can work together, the more we can find that harmony, again, starting within and bring that without, that will be the change. Ew, February.
Ooh, Ooh, February. So we'll start February with me, with the Thunderbolt card. Yay! We're breaking through some stuff. And so you might have a falling out with somebody, something, there's a disagreement maybe. However, it's not necessarily a bad disagreement. It's really about you standing up for what, like Mimi said, I love what you just said. You went on a rant like I do. What I love what you said about, you know, watch where your motivations are. Is it from reaction or is it from your heart? And if it's from your heart, effing say what you need to say. Do what you need to do. But do it from a place of alignment and from empowerment, not from wounding, fear, or reaction. Because it's easy to get in reaction. And I'm going to say another one. Reaction is distraction. Reaction is distraction. You don't want to get distracted. It's like, I watched that movie, Now You See Me. It's about magicians. It's like, where do they want the smoke and mirrors? Look over here, look over here. So things are they're doing things behind the curtain, the wizard behind the curtain. So be careful to get locked into the distraction. Reaction is distraction. So if you're just reacting, it's only a distraction. Okay. So as we go forward, what are we dealing with? Again, I have the suppression card as well. What is it? What is being suppressed? Doo-doo, doo-doo. The feminine is being repressed. This is what's being repressed, is our feminine nature. And so if you have a Thunderbolt card going on, make sure you're doing it with Mama, because Mama likes to come, you know, the Lilith energy and the Kali energy. If you're needing to go to that place where you need to break free of that suppression, go into that passionate place in yourself, call upon Kali, Sekhmet, or Lilith to help you do it in a way that feels empowering and not reactive or not frustrated, because we are breaking through a lot of conditions. You call upon, I love the Sekhmet. Here's the lion in the sheep's clothing. Sekhmet is the goddess of the lion, and she will show you where your roar is. There's the voice again. Where's your roar? Where is it coming? Not the roar just coming from a, you know, like Simba, like doing the little rah. Where is it coming from? A guttural place. Finding the roar that actually lives within you. Finding the depth of that roar. And that is where your power lives. Because what's trying to happen right now is the Lover's card. It might be a relationship, but it's beyond that. It's you seeing yourself as a peer to the masculine, or the masculine seeing the feminine as a peer to itself. And so we have to see each other not as one has more power than the other, but seeing each other and working in harmony with ourselves, and it might just be within ourselves too, that masculine and our feminine side. Where is the feminine power? So it's finding that masculine energy within you to give you that structure so you can come in with the ferociousness of the feminine. And so, by the way, so as we go through that energy, see yourself as a peer. A lot of people ask me, like, how are you in relationship? And I've been in relationship with my husband for a very long time. And we've been through so many different kind of oscillating. When we first got together, he liked me more. Then we went to a stage where I liked him more. And then we found balance. And so this is also finding a nature of finding someone who is going to be a balance, not someone who you're like needing, and not somebody who's like needing you and feels clingy. So it's finding this thing where it's an equal energy exchange if it's coming from a relationship standpoint. But this could also become business partners. This is also an energy of you in career. It might be your boss. It's you stepping up in a new way. And so as this happens, to be fair, that's why we're doing, the scales need to be exactly the same weight here. So nobody's giving more, receiving more. All your relationships need to be thought out, especially with this Libra energy, Jupiter later on this week. We have to make sure that what we're doing, the scales are equal. So as much as you're giving is you're also receiving. As much as you're receiving, you're also giving money or whatever energy, time to what you receive. So it's this nice, beautiful equilibrium. What I'm also getting with this energy is a new life in reverse, or the totality in reverse. This is saying that it's okay to be a beginner in this. It's okay to not have it figured out right away. It's okay to make mistakes in this. It's okay to be a little up in the air and not knowing what the heck you're doing or feeling like you have your footing. This is be patient with being a beginner. It's okay. This is the start of new life. It doesn't have to be the completion of something. It's definitely a beginning part. And I have the contact card that popped out twice, and this is telling me that you might be meeting somebody in the month of February that's going to help you, or you might have to have one of these conversations, or something big with a contact with another person will ignite this. So don't be too afraid. It does feel like it's going to be involved with somebody else.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
That's interesting. And especially, February, Valentine's Day.
Mm-hmm. And that might bring up some like feeling like you can't find the love, and you feel, oh my God, I've been in so many relationships. Why don't they work? And that might be a trigger point for you too, of like, who do you have to be to have those equal partnerships? That's a good question that you might want to. Who do I need to be to have equal partnerships? Do I need to stop giving as much? What do I need to find that to be fair? How do I even what scale do I need to put a little bit more on so they even out?
Very interesting. I love it. That's so interesting with Jupiter going retrograde, which we'll get to this week. All right, so Thursday, the moon shifts into Taurus. I think the moon shifting into Taurus might be a little like, a little ease, but it's funny, keeping up with the feminine energies. Of course, there are some masculine cards in the Gaia Oracle, but I've got this, and look at that throat chakra energy going on right there. I've got Yemenia, golden opportunity, and I've got this patience card. And just like looking at the three of these, I was like, wow, this feminine energy coming forth in Taurus energy. And Taurus to me is earth energy. Taurus to me is this Mama Gaia energy. And so just looking at these three energies, oh, and even this one too, the courage card breaking through from this ground, connect into nature. I think this is a big part of this evolution that's going on. And like there is the National Park Service, like their whole thing that they're doing. I love the memes that are like, in all the dystopian books that I've ever read, it has never been National Park Service that has been the savior. But that may be a little push for us to connect to Mother Earth, connect to nature. Not everybody can do this. I know it's going to be raining here, so I may be dancing in the rain. Somebody asked me, but it's 30 degrees outside. How do I get out in nature? Get out there for a minute. Make a snow angel. Connect in. Let a few snowflakes land on your face. Like, be outside in nature, appreciating nature. Even if it's just for a minute, connect your roots to Mother Earth and feel her support. Feel her understanding, her compassion, her love, her divinity in and through this energy. Beyond this card, perception is beyond the veil of illusion. Like, what's real? I think this is one of the things that's really hard to really know in all this, because there are so many smoke and mirrors. What's really real? What's real? Well, Mama Earth is real. Getting in nature, feeling that nature energy, that's real. Life and birth and, your physical body, getting into the physical, that's real. And so that's what I think Taurus is calling us to do. I've got exhaustion. I've got the exhaustion card, and I've got the mind card in reverse. Mind card, this isn't real. That's all the stuff. That's all the smoke and mirrors. That's that perception energy. This exhaustion, I don't know if that's real or not. I think it's just energy that's processing. But be willing to connect in. And I think like Taurus is this moment this week that's like, okay, here I am. Who am I? Where am I? How am I valuing myself? How am I loving on myself? Taurus is that value energy. So place some value in what you what is real, yourself. I want to read, I love these little affirmations. So I'm going to read this little affirmation because it talks about the value, I think. Oh, and it's so perfect in this energy. Oh, I love this. I honor another's truth, but stand firm within my own. I am comfortable with who I am. I keep an open heart and mind. I empower myself when I honor my values. In being true to me, I am true to others. So good, so good. And that's so Taurus in a nutshell. Find what you value. Place some of that value in Mama Earth supporting you. Place some value in your physical body supporting you. Place some value in caring for these things. And then move in your truth from that place of centered self-worth. Nicole?
I love it. I love it. So here's some funny, all right, I'm going to go in a weird place here, but whatever. This is what the cards are kind of showing me, and this is Taurus energy. So let's get back on the woo-woo bus and and see where this is. Yeah, see where this is going. So in this Taurus energy, I know that it's not really mental. I know it's really physical, but we're going through a bit of a mind shift. And so your brain, and I have the consciousness card in reverse, and I also have the silence card. And so this is going, you're not going to be able to really rely on your mind in this energy. There is a shift of the mind that's happening, and it's in a collective scale. And I also feel like we're having, here's the woo-woo part, I feel like the mind is being shifted and helped by celestial energy. So there is this interesting kind of alien, it's like these benevolent beings, these celestial beings that are helping us. So it's completely shifting our reality, shifting what we perceive. There's that perception card that Mimi had, and the way we perceive it, right? So as the smoke and mirrors are being laid out for us, there's no other way that we can navigate this but by shutting our eyes for a minute and not using these physical eyes, because what you see can deceive you. Okay, so that song, right, by the Beatles, misunderstanding all we see. Okay, so we are misunderstanding from the eyes. So the way that they are showing us how to navigate the world is not through the mind, because it can confuse the Jesus out of you. What we need to let go of what we think is right or wrong or black and white, and go into a deeper, higher consciousness of beyond duality, but seeing where the yin and the yang, or the totality of all of it is, and the connection of the world. So the perception of the entire world and the people on it are changing at the moment. The only thing that you can do, the best thing that you can do, is stay in this silence energy. Go deep beyond all the mind chatter, all the things that you used to rely on, and see if you can find the stillness. The stillness is where your truth lies. Mimi just talked about your truth. Once you sit in your truth, what is your truth? Who tells you your truth? Is it your mind? Because if it's your mind, that's not truth. If your mind is telling it, it's still opinion. It's not necessarily fact or opinion. Who knows what that is? Your truth lies deeper, sinks in deeper. So you can't listen to this. It's even past emotion and feeling, because it's past the heart and it's into the soul. How do we get connected to the soul? We have to find stillness, the power of the now. That is what this Taurus energy is. The Taurus energy is the now. What is the reality? What is always in the present moment? It's our body, the planet. That's what Mimi was saying. We have to come into the now so we can find stillness. Someone that would, if you want any books or lectures to listen to, Eckhart Tolle is the master teacher of this. The power of now, the power of stillness. Read these books, because he will help you get to the vibration to find that stillness of the mind, so you can get out of the waves of all of this other garbage that's wanting to inundate us right now. We are on our edge, and we are on the edge of all we know. So the only way we can navigate the edge is to get our power back from the noise and come into the stillness.
I love that. I didn't want to break the stillness.
Bring it.
Funny is looking at this next thing as you're saying this and looking at my cards. My card from Gaia is all about the heart of truth. And the sacred space card, or the goddess card, is Nematona, sacred space. And as you're talking about this, I'm like, Venus and Aries, what is this flow? How is this moving? And this, in alignment with these cards. And so as you're saying, find this soul, and looking at this, it's like this Nematona sacred space card is like not outside of you. In this card, it says, create an altar or visit a power place to connect with the divine. And I think Venus and Aries and what we're, talking about is like finding yourself as the altar. Let you be the altar with Venus and Aries. Venus is going to be actually working pretty interestingly through Aries, because Venus is going to be retrograding in Aries. So Venus is going to move through to about, is it 13 degrees? I don't remember what degree, to the beginning of March. And then it's going to retrograde back into Pisces. And anytime we have that retrograde energy, it takes us within. So we're going to have Jupiter retrograding in Libra, balancing out that Venus energy. Venus rules Libra. And then we're going to have Venus retrograding in Aries. Balance, there's that balance energy. And in this, as it takes us within, it's asking us, can you find the sacred being within you? And I want to read you the Gaia card because it's so perfect with what Nikki was just saying. So I pulled 33, healing. I love catching the light on these cards. They're so shiny. There you go. Caught the light right on the heart. Reconnecting with your true nature. The little affirmation is, my sanctuary is the space of light inside my heart. I find peace and contentment within. My heart reveals my truth. My heart reflects the real me. My heart guides me. And I would agree with Nikki that, take it even deeper into the soul. But, heart and soul, it's even a song. So they're connected. But there's that energy. And so this is, to me, what Venus and Aries is going to be doing. Now, let's not just say that it's going to be sunshine and rainbows, because I got transformation, I got breakthrough, and look at there, that's definitely some heart breakthrough happening. And I've got the nothingness in this energy. So there's going to be breakthrough as you find this sacred space within you, as you recognize yourself as the temple. You are the temple, as this sacred being, as this altar, as this divine light. There's going to be breakthrough. And things, the transformation card, this is the death card, things that do not honor you, that do not honor your divine self, yourself as the temple, are going to fall away. And this is going to allow some breakthroughs. The nothingness card, this is one of my favorite cards, because this is a card of pure potentiality. And so this is what, the universe is like, oh, I have things for you that you do not even know. They remain to be seen. Also got ripeness. So the fruitening, it's not a word, but I like it. The fruitening of your life, the fruition, whatever. But I like fruitening. I like to make up my own words. It can come forth. And whether it's going to be this round of Venus and Aries, or if it's going to be after, Venus retrogrades and comes back, there's going to be some major opportunity. But what your work is right now is to find that sacred worth within yourself. Uranus has been working on us. Uranus has been in Aries for the last few years, working on our I am. So here's Mars working on our I am, and here's Venus working on our I am. Are you ready to show up as the soul that you are, as your I am, in the light of you, in your divine light? This is what we're being called to in this energy. Nicole?
I'm trying to look at this. I'm trying to find a proverb, but I can't find it. But that's okay. That's all right. I might find it a little later. Okay, so the energy that I'm getting in this Venus and Aries, it's fascinating. It's a lot what Mimi said, but so it is going to bring up some things. The first thing that's really popping out to me is this Innocence card in reverse. Aries is kind of an intense energy. And so through this, I think a lot of inner child wounding will come up. They're showing me this really wounded inner child. And so your wounded inner child with this Venus and Aries, and as it retrogrades and all of that, some old cycles and patterns from that wounded child, is it's time to get off that old carousel and like find a better roller coaster. Like find something that's a little more fun, more exhilarating, more enjoyable for you than getting dizzy and going around in circles over and over again on the carousel. It's like you're not 6 anymore. You don't need to just go on the carousel. You've upgraded to big boy rides or big girl rides, and we can get off that carousel now. And all the things, I think in this energy, all the things that we haven't integrated yet are going to come up to the surface. And what's funny is this is not the person who I naturally gravitate towards if my wounded child stuff is coming up, but there's this Buddha nature coming up. So Buddha's coming in and helping us because he is a master of the mind. He's a master of clarity. He's a master of a soul in a very interesting way. But what people with the Buddhist tradition, and as I worked with some Buddhist clients of mine, they unlock here. They unlock like heart, throat, mind, third eye or crown chakra. But a lot of them kind of miss the bottom ones. And so Aries, of course, the solar plexus, the sacral, and the root, Aries is very fiery. It gives me the energy of the yellow, the orange, and the red. But when I connected with one of my clients once, he was super Buddhist. It was amazing. Buddha came into me and showed me him sitting right here in the belly. And he goes, I needed all the chakras. I needed all of it. I needed the root, the sacral. I needed all of that to become enlightened. My followers focus on these to be important. These are also very important. And so what he's saying is to embody all of it. Embody all of it and become at peace, because Buddha teaches detachment or unattachment. I've seen a lot of people just go, they use the unattachment to not be an excuse to not be in relationship, to not do these things, to not attach to people, to not get into intimacy. But that is not what Buddha did. At first he did, but he actually had to connect more to find that enlightenment. Unattachment is going through the suffering and the pain, or going through the pain and not attaching to it. So I know this might not make full on sense yet, but what I'm getting with this energy is the way to integrate it is to have full acceptance of it and make it one with you without attaching to the pain anymore. I know it's really hard to get conceptually here. Your soul knows how to do it. Find that stillness. There's a couple other things I have. The fairy magic card is telling us to have a little more fun. This round and round card is telling me get off the carousel and go on a roller coaster. Get off the carousel and go on a different ride. Find some fun, find some play. Because the way to also integrate the wounded inner child is you got to give them not a distraction, but you have to give them something to focus on. So if they're focusing on all the seriousness, it's going to feel wounded, because the child was never supposed to take responsibility for the world. The child was supposed to play in creativity. So you have to give your inner child, the wounded child, some creativity, some music, some art, the voice card again. It's got to sing, la, 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 la. And the proverb I was looking for, and I can't fully find it right now, it said the reason, or it's something to the nature of, the reason why the world is in such turmoil is because we, the children, have forgotten how to sing. We, the children, have forgotten how to dance. We, the children, forgotten how to tell our stories. We, the children, have forgotten how to play. And as we've forgotten how to play, we forgot that this life was only a game. So remember how to play the game again. And stop taking it all so damn seriously. I made that up. That wasn't the proverb. That was coming from me.
I like your version. I was like, but are you thinking of the Gabrielle Roth quote that's like, you know, if you went to a shaman, you know, for healing, their first question, well, when did you stop singing? When did you stop laughing?
That's exactly what I was looking for.
Yeah. But I liked your version. I think your version was perfect. So
I was like, you know what? I'm just going to connect to the energy of what it was trying to come through and just not worry about the quote, because apparently the quote didn't want to come because it wanted me to connect to it. That's what I got, you know. So we got to play. When did you? Yes, the shaman would say, when did you stop singing? And that's exactly what this is at. That's where the wounded child is. When the wounded child started, when you stop singing, when you stop playing, when you stop dancing. That's the core of it. So if you can connect back to that, it's when it all integrates back into each other.
Let me just show you my cards that I have for this next thing. The moon in Gemini, integration in reverse. Oh, there's the wounded child being held outside of the fun, the playfulness, and the trust. So yeah, here we go. right there in alignment with you in this energy. So moon into Gemini. So we just had Venus shift into Aries on Friday, moon shifting into Gemini on Saturday, and this is preparing us for Jupiter going retrograde on Sunday. And it's interesting, like I have these cards, which I, you know, take Nikki's message, ditto that.
Copy paste.
Exactly. But what I've got, and you know, moon in Gemini is the sign of the mind. I have the remembrance card from the Gaia, and I've got the schizophrenia card, and I've got the clinging to the past. And so what may be happening is there may be a block that you are actually needing to work through. You know, Venus and Mars moving through Aries as well as Uranus. This may be a great time to look at some mental blocks that may be in place, keeping you from outside of trusting that inner child energy. So this may be a time to address it, because I've got this guy, the king, your inner adult, breaking through these old chains. And so you may have to face where you are still holding on to these old situations, these old pains during this moon in Gemini. This moon in Gemini, like I said, is taking us into Jupiter going retrograde. So you may find this taking you into, with Jupiter retrograde, going within and being like, oh, you know, this one time this girl in my class said that I didn't look good in yellow, and I haven't worn yellow since, but I love wearing yellow because it makes me so happy. I mean, it's funny for me. If I look back to one of like those moments for me with my inner child, was there. I went to a Catholic school, and so we would have the Mary, like honoring Mary parade, and the little girls in first grade would get to dress up in pretty white dresses and honor Mary. And my family had decided that I looked like a pixie, and they wanted to cut off my hair. They bribed me with jelly beans to cut off my hair and give me a pixie cut. And because I had short hair, I was not picked to be one of those little girls honoring Mary, who I loved. I was like all about Mary. I was always about the divine feminine. It's like this wonderful energy, and she had a special song, and I wanted to sing her song. But I remember sitting there with this other girl who also had a short haircut, and we were just like kind of hiding, watching these other girls in the pretty white dresses. You know, that's a wound. That's a core block. Like, oh, I wasn't pretty enough. I didn't have hair. You know, that's a block. It's those little things that in our adult mind think, you know, we think that should not be trauma, but this is what's keeping us out of integrating, you know, that full version of the divine feminine or the full version of the divine masculine. That's stopping us from taking that lead. In a different deck, this card, the Emperor card, is take the lead. That's stopping us from taking the lead in our life. And so I believe that these cards are like saying, hey, during this time, moon in Gemini, the moon connecting the emotion to the mental, is a time to start processing this stuff. Venus in Aries, like Nikki said, is helping take us into that inner child, and then Jupiter preparing to go retrograde and then retrograding into Libra can take us into this stuff, the resurfacing of past feelings and emotions, so that we can shift this story. And again, I'm going to read this affirmation because it's so good. I bless my past. I'm grateful for every experience. For every experience has helped me expand my understanding of love. My life is forever unfolding as it should. The past, the present, the future are one. I honor and respect my feelings and emotions because they're part of my story. So looking at it as that story, but then also releasing that block, you know, the block, those chains, so that you can move forward. And you're going to be moving forward into creation because I've got Ostara, fertility. It's the perfect time for you to start new projects, access new ideas, give birth to new conditions. Giving birth to the new conditions outside of these blocks, outside of these old things that have been subconsciously holding you back. Nicole?
Yeah, you know, with this energy, what I'm getting, it feels like a clogged pipe a bit. It feels like, you know, all the things we went through kind of clogged the pipes. And so it's like you turn on the faucet and the water keeps going and you're like, or it keeps rising in your sink and you're like, oh God, okay, I gotta clean this block. Well, that's what the feeling is for this, for me. I have the breakthrough card in reverse. I have the rebirth card in reverse, and I have the aloneness card in reverse. So we're getting a little bit of a, whoop, wait a minute, stop. We have to go get the Drano before you brush your teeth so you don't overfill the sink. Yes, I have a 5-year-old, so we do this often. So we got to unclog our pipes. And what that is doing. So what is going to come up, like I said, some inner child wounds, some things. It's not to be afraid. It's not coming up to punish you. But here this time, instead of the trigger coming up and like throwing you off, you have to go in now to the observer. You have to go into the observer mind, the observer beyond the mind of the observer. So not taking it so personally, looking at it as a story or a movie, or maybe even third party. Start looking at yourself. You might want to write this down and write your story, not as this happened to me. This happened to Nicole. This happened to Nikki. This happened to Mimi. So Mimi might want to go and get that story and go, there was this little girl and she got a pixie cut and da 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 da. And so she can see that from an external position instead of taking it as an identity. Because what she might get is another perception of what happened that can unclog the drain by just looking at it as a movie instead of being the first person narrator. And the reason why we need to do this is because she might find a blessing in disguise. She might find where, or all of us, for whatever that wound, that inner child wound. I had mine at summer camp. And mine was, I opened up the boys' dorm and I got confused because sometimes I get so caught up in my play that I went to go hang up my wet bathing suit and I opened up the boys' dorm instead of the door to the outside to hang up my bathing suit. And because of it, I got a lot of shame. They made all the girls, because of me, eat last. They made it such a big deal the next day. And I was in such a good place when I did it, and I did it out of a place of innocence, that it kind of traumatized me. It's the same thing of Mimi. Those little things you wouldn't think would traumatize you, but because they made it such a big deal, and I didn't do it to be like an instigator or whatever, and they made a spectacle of me, that wounded me and that embarrassed me for a very long time. But as we begin to step out of that, because I can feel the emotion come up, there's the gunk, right? We step ourselves back so it becomes a story, and it becomes almost like, I see that thing in Harry Potter where they pull the memory out, that like that thing, and they put it in like the little basin and they could see it in a different way. Well, that's what's being called. And there's like a placement to heal it in your ordinary world. Maybe it's realizing that and then taking it to your child and being a little more sensitive to something like that, or being sensitive to embarrassment or whatever that came out for you, because what it connected to is your sense of worth. That little trauma thing that may sound weird or kind of stupid to the adults really did affect your worthiness, really did affect worth or something of this nature. So, and that our lack of worthiness is connected to what we commit to. So if you're kind of flimsy-flamsy with your commitments, it's because you don't feel worthy. So where does that unworthiness come? It comes all the way back to that gunk that's being clogged up, and to do it in that observer way might help you unclog those in this Gemini, because we have to unravel the mind, what we believe to be right, what we believe to have happened to us, and pull ourselves out so we can unravel the mind so it can reintegrate. And music can help you too. So to flow that back in, you might want to put some music on. Maybe a song from your childhood might end up triggering that up and then help you flow it back to set it right.
Perfect. I love that. All right, so we're rounding out the week with Jupiter retrograding in the sign of Libra. So Jupiter is going retrograde at 23 degrees. It's retrograding back to 13 degrees, which means Jupiter will rendezvous with both Uranus and Pluto. Again, the tightening and releasing of the T-square. This retrograde process will go all the way through June. And I do want to warn you, if you have strong Jupiter energy in your chart, if you are a Sagittarius, or even if you're a Pisces, because Pisces, before they discovered Neptune, was ruled by Jupiter, you may feel the initial of this retrograde. I know I get tired for like the first week of every Jupiter retrograde. And if we add that onto, you know, empathing the world right now, you may be really sleepy. Take it easy on yourself, you know, and recognize, okay, planetary patterning, this will shift. Jupiter retrograde in Libra. My personal topic for Jupiter in Libra has been coming into the energy of self-love, coming into that balance, coming into that union within yourself. And what do I have here? I've got the card of union. I've got the card of maturity. I can't not catch the light with it. There we go. Maturity, which is coming into that full circle of yourself. But it's gonna be a process. I've got the hidden path card. You know, retrograde, it takes you into the stuff. One of the most interesting cards I've got here is I've got the past lives card it's the Isis card, past lives. And it says the situation involves your past life memories. And so you may find in this process of coming into your self-love, coming into the wholeness within yourself, that this may be a good time to do a little, past life investigation, if it comes up for you. What I find for me is that I don't actually necessarily have to go digging for my past lives. They come up for me when it's time for me to look at them. So be vigilant. And it may be something like, oh, some situation pops into your memory, like, and you're like, what's that thing? I never experienced that. Be willing to investigate it. It may not necessarily be like, so like, oh, I had this past life, but this weird little thing, this fear or something pops up. Be willing to look and see, okay, how is this telling a story for me? How is this a parable for me to understand myself in greater wholeness through this energy? Because that's what retrogrades are about, really coming in and understanding yourself. Jupiter is the planet of expansion. So Jupiter in Libra, instead of expanding your love out into the world and focusing on your partners and your friends and all of that, come in to yourself and expand your love, your understanding, your knowledge of yourself. I've got the Fool card again, so this new journey of discovering yourself, and I've got the Miser card. There are jewels within you. There is stuff in you left unturned, you know, and so this is going to be this opportunity to explore, get to know yourself so that you're not hiding these jewels, these talents within yourself anymore. I've got the Aloneness card. So, you know, in relationship or not, Jupiter retrograde in Libra, you know, some astrologers would be like, it's not necessarily a great time to get into a relationship. I don't really look at astrology that way, but I do feel like taking some decent time alone to connect to your wholeness, to not look for others, to be filling your holes outside of you, to be fulfilling, you know, those energies. You're like, oh, I'm lonely. I want somebody to fill my loneliness. I want somebody to fulfill my fun. Find a way to do that for yourself, and you're going to bring forth these jewels within yourself. I've also got the Success card. So this is going to be a really great process, and this is a 6 card. So this is tied. She's got it too. Nikki's got it too. This is tied to the Lover's card. The Lover's card is a 6. And I believe that. I mean, I think one of my favorite things about astrology in general is looking at like an individual's chart and like, how can we expand you? How can we get you into you in a greater level? And so this is what Jupiter, my ruling planet, is saying in Libra, like, ooh, let's dive into you. Let's look and see what we can find. So whether it's past life or whether it's in this life, whether it's this inner child stuff that we just talked about, this is going to be a really great time for this. I pulled another goddess card too, and I pulled Mary Magdalene, unconditional love. Just love yourself, others, every situation, no matter what the outward appearance seems to be. But I'm again pulling this back to yourself. Love yourself on that unconditional level, because there are beautiful jewels for you in this energy. And I want to, again, read this affirmation on this hidden path, because like I said, I think some old stuff's gonna pop up for you to work through and know yourself better through this energy, but the affirmations are just so good. So, my heart and mind are in perfect alignment. My heart's desires and my thoughts are one. I am a spiritual being in a physical body. The journey ahead is filled with light. The light of my soul illuminates my path. So no matter what, whether it's the inner child journey or going down this road of past lives, this old stuff, your soul is illuminating your path. It's going to be good.
Okay.
Rebirth right there in the middle, by the way, the Ankh. The Ankh is that rebirth energy right there. So good things. Okay, now I'm done.
Okay. Mine are a little it's funny because I pulled some cards from each one and they all have like a different kind of essence going on, but I'm going to try to find the through line of that. And I agree with Mimi, what Mimi said about having to go in and kind of focus on yourself. The reason why you can't put all your attention to your relationships because there's still some unfinished business that you have to do. The first card that I have is the fork in the road card. So the way that we're expanding in Libra in our relationships, and as if you have some Libra in your chart or you are a Libra, you have to really pay attention right now to what Jupiter is telling you to do. Because this is a new way of moving forward. It's a new way of expanding in relationships. It's a new way of expanding in harmony. And it's also a new way of expanding in peace. So you can either choose peace or you can dream about it. Libras have a really hard time making a decision because they want everything to be fair, or they want to make sure they're making the right decision. And sometimes there is no right decision. It's just a decision, and it's okay. And that you can make a mistake and you don't have to sit in this like weighing things out constantly. All you need to do is either choose peace, choose what is in alignment with your own inner peace, or you could keep dreaming about it and not doing anything about it. The Chopwood card in reverse usually tells me that that's the armchair astronaut feel. It's like we dream about all these different things but never actually decide to do them. And that is, do you want to expand that? Do you want to expand your indecision? Do you want to expand your holding yourself back? Do you want to expand that, or do you want to expand what would actually bring you peace? And sometimes what brings us peace, and then I'm going to go into the lovely, all these fiery freaking cards I got from Osho here. Do we expand in peace, or do we expand in our passions? And you know, Libras don't like that. Libra energy has a hard time rocking the boat or saying what they need to say because they're scared that it will wreck the peace. But maybe what's keeping you from the peace is what you're passionate about. So we have to connect back to source. What is really peaceful? The sun is kind of peaceful, but it's also, the closer you get to it, it's going to be fiery and hot and illuminate things. But that's also, this is the energy of Jupiter. So this is the Jupiter and the Libra energy working together. This, you know, it expands its heat. That Jupiter energy, not that it's ruled by fire, but it's ruled by that Sagittarius energy, right? So that fire sign, Jupiter is ruled by that fire sign. And so Sagittarius energy is expansive. That's just what it does. Then this experience card. Where can we expand ourselves right here, right in our own nature, right here, connected to our own true essence? There's the success card. I have that too. And then allowing a light bit of intensity to move you forward, because this Jupiter energy is like, wait a minute, how are you expanding? Are you sure you want to expand that way? It's giving you a second chance to redirect your focus. Thank you, Jupiter energy, Sagittarius energy. What do you want to focus on, right? So through this, I've got the right order card. So we're putting things into, this is your second chance to put things back into order, put things back into the right order that you want it to do. You can also do, by going forward and expanding, what do we have to do? We got to pull back in. Maybe we need to get rid of some clutter. Maybe we don't want to expand our clutter. We want to expand peace, right? So sometimes it's going in, getting all the clutter of our minds, getting all the clutter of our stuff, getting the clutter of our hearts, getting the clutter of our heartbreaks out of the way so we don't expand that anymore. So what I see Jupiter doing, it's like a magnifying glass of what is. So now as it retrogrades, now you can magnify and go magnify, oh, this is all the stuff that it's magnifying. Oh my God, I got to get rid of all this stuff. So when the magnifying glass comes back online for me, it magnifies things I actually want, not the things that are just here, right? So do some clearing, do some ho'oponopono, set that stuff right, set it right. So once that magnifying glass goes on, that's what you're amplifying. That's what's on the loudspeaker. Because if you're amplifying things you don't want to expand, you're going to just have more garbage. Again, I have that labyrinth woman with all the garbage in her back, and she's like, and she's like carrying around all this garbage. You don't want more of that. So clean out your house, clean out the garbage. So then when you're expanding, it's more like the sun. It's more like the source. And it will bring new life to you and bring new dreams and bring all the things that you want in relationships and in harmony. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Awesome. That was good stuff. So speaking of harmony, Nikki and I are doing our GPS readings. It is on sale right now. It is $150 for an hour with the both of us. So it's your personal GPS. We can cover a lot. I mean, between the Virgo and the Sagittarius, and Gemini risings, both of us, we know a lot. We bring a lot of information. So
almost to the point where it's like we need a little bit more than an hour, but that's okay.
It's still, we can bring a lot in an hour. So if you're wanting your personal GPS, if you want us to look at your chart, bring forward how your year is going, any situation in your life, you can find that on the Gaia Blooming website. I'm also being guided to put out an eclipse reading. So I'm going to put out an eclipse reading. It is not on the Gaia Blooming website yet, but it will be hopefully soon. So 20-minute eclipse reading. I'll cover both eclipses, how it's fitting in your chart. It's $30. And so I'm going to put that up hopefully later today. But if you're interested, you can email me now, mimiclark@gmail.com, so we can get you on, because I've got a lot of people already booked for eclipse readings, my monthly clients. But, it's just good to know how to work this stuff through your personal energy. What are the personal lessons for you? So there's that. Do you have anything, Nikki?
Yeah, actually, if you want some help after Mimi's reading with this eclipse energy, what I've been being guided a lot to is, because of all this negativity and all these things that are happening, and because of the Jupiter retrograde, Spirit has been telling me to offer a sale on cord cuttings. And cord cuttings is kind of just this little ceremony that happens. It's about 30 minutes, or it takes about 20 minutes, where we focus on one person or one situation that will be your anchor, and then we cut the cords. But whatever negative cords you have, they will also be cut. So it's this clearing. And then I'll do a 10-minute 4-card spread just to see how you're moving through that. And that will be with the cord cutting, because that's usually it's like $100 or maybe even $125, and then doing a mini reading. So I'm going to offer it for $75 for that half an hour, because it is, if anybody who's gotten a cord cutting from me knows, they're really powerful and they really can reset your life. So I think that will be really good for the Jupiter retrograde and also the eclipses, because the eclipses the eclipse will highlight what you don't need.
Venus in Aries and Venus retrograde in Aries, like it works with all of those things all together. So cool. Well, then that is it from us this week. Thank you for joining us. Thank you all the people who are watching with us at this time, and we'll see you next week. Namaste.
Namaste.